It's official. GPT-5 is coming. But before you get too excited and start imagining a future where you're chatting with robots that are smarter than you, let me tell you something that might surprise you.
GPT-5 will not be released all at once, not even close. Instead, it will be released incrementally in stages, with each new version building on the previous one. Why, you ask? Well, there are a few reasons, and I'm here to break it all down for you first. Let's talk about what we know about GPT-5. So far, Greg Brockman, the president and co-founder of OpenAI, recently tweeted about the company's plans for releasing GPT-5.
Brockman makes several interesting points in his review. GPT-5 will be released incrementally. Brockman explained that it's easy to create a continually better AI by deploying subsequent checkpoints. In simple terms, this means that OpenAI will release GPT-5 in stages, with each stage being an improvement of the recent one. It's like watching a toddler grow up. You don't wake up one day and find that you some days turn to an adult. You grow and develop over time, gradually becoming more and more capable. But how exactly will OpenAI create these incrementally better AIs?
Let's say they're working on GPT-5, and they've already trained it on a huge data set of text from the internet. At some point during this training process, they might decide to take a checkpoint, or a snapshot of the current value of the parameters of the model, which is basically like taking a photo of the AI's current understanding of the data. Then they'll keep training the model on more data, or maybe just the same data more times, until it's improved to the point where they want to take another checkpoint. This new checkpoint will have updated parameters reflecting the model's improved understanding of the data, and so on and so forth until the model is deemed ready for release.
Now you might be wondering, wait a minute, isn't GPT-4 already trained on all the data on the internet? How can it get smarter than that? My friend, I'm glad you asked. It's true that GPT-4 has already been trained on a massive data set. There's still plenty of data out there that OpenAI could use to train it even further. In fact, they estimate that they still have an order of magnitude at least 10 times more data than already used. And when it comes to data, quality matters just as much as quantity. OpenAI could purchase a proprietary data set on specialized topics like math, science, or coding, which will give GPT-5 the access to even more high-quality data. But here is the really interesting part. OpenAI doesn't just have to rely on existing data set to improve its GPT-5. They can also use your prompts, the sponsors, the uploaded images, and generated images, of course, to make their AI even smarter. Isn't it a wild thought that we are shaping the future of AI with our own curious mind? Every chat, every question, every prompt we toss it at GTP is like adding a little more lightning to the storm, bringing the next generation of GTP to life. Of course, there is some concern around this privacy and the ethical implication when it comes to people's personal data. It's important to know that GPT-5 will not be a magic solution to all of our problems.
It will still have limitations and weaknesses just like any other AI. For example, while GPT-5 will be able to generate incredibly sophisticated and nuanced text, it may still struggle with tasks that require a high degree of reliability or accuracy. As Ilya Sutskever, the chief scientist of OpenAI, has noted, reliability is a potential weakness of GPT-5 that could limit its real-world impact. So what might those different checkpoints look like in terms of growing intelligence? Sebastian Bubeck, the author of the famous Sparks of AGI paper. provides a great example. He compares the growth of GPT-4's intelligence to that of a unicorn, using a chart that shows how GPT-4 improves its performance over time. As it is trained more, you can see the gap between GPT-4 and ChargeApt, and how ChargeApt's unicorn improves over time as they keep training it. One of the most interesting points that Brockman made in his tweet was how he mentioned existential risks without dismissing them. Well, according to the guy behind Stable Diffusion, nobody is launching runs bigger than GPT-4 for 6 to 9 months. Anyway, why? Because it needs the new H100SS to get scale, and they take time to be installed, burnt in, optimized, etc. Brockman also mentioned in his tweet that there might be a lag of safety testing after a model is trained, and before it's released, this means that it could take some time before GPT-5 or 4.2 is released to the public.
My personal prediction is that we might see GPT 4.2 released in about 6 to 8 months. However, this is just speculations.
To wrap things up, the release of GPT-5 will likely be done incrementally with subsequent checkpoints of a given training run being deployed, to create a continuum of incrementally better AI models. OpenAI has a lot of data still available to use, including high-quality proprietary datasets and user-generated data. They're also taking steps to ensure that GPT-5 is safe and reliable, with guardrails in place to prevent any negative outcomes. While it's hard to predict exactly when GPT-5 will be released, it's clear that OpenAI is taking their time to get it right. I guess we'll have to wait a bit longer for GPT-5 to take over the world.